Yes, people. Yes, welcome to Tribe Talk Live episode 7. Man, I'm getting through this quick. Um, yeah, today we have former training partner and very influential person on today. Name's Joseph Dewar, GB Sprinter. Um, just a quick one before I get into it. Um, the previous talk I did with Jade, sports therapist, will be up on YouTube tonight. So I'll post the link in my bio. But we do only have an hour. So let's get into it.
Peace out, guys. How's it going?
Yo, what's happening?
It's been a while. It's been a while. How's it going, my bro?
Been too long, man.
Yeah.
Considering the time I saw you last, it was that random time on the train.
Yeah, on the train, innit? Yeah. It's mad how it worked out, and now we're here doing a live. It's come quick,
Right.
man. It's been like a month. Yeah.
It's been a month
Yeah.
since I
It's
saw
been
you.
like what? Almost a month. I think it's like the end. I saw you like at the start of June, so it's been about what, 20 days? Coming to a month.
Mm-hmm.
Time's going fast, man.
So yeah, the main reason I kind of wanted to get you on here was because um, was mainly because the last time I saw you on the train as well, I saw the massive maturity and like mentality and mindset and like views on life in general that I saw from when
Yeah.
from when we were
Yeah.
training before
Yeah. Back
to
in.
where you're
Yeah. A
at
lot has
now.
happened, man. Times changed a lot. A lot of experiences.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
maturity comes as you grow. So
That's it.
it's been a journey.
Um,
It's been a journey.
yeah, to say the least, man. To say the least. But yeah,
Yeah.
let's get into it. So who is Joseph, and like what was your journey? How did you become who you are today? Where did it all start for you?
Yeah. So, like
Nutshell.
most of us would say the same, but like, like school running,
Mm-hmm.
racing your friends, just, being the fastest in your class, being the fastest in your school, that kind of thing. I always enjoyed, sport, you know, like overall, just competitive side of sport, being physically trying to be physically better than your opponent or just your friends or just, I always enjoyed that. So it was always fun to just play sport in general, like whether it was playing bulldog or those sort of things where it's just
Mm.
competitive with everybody. So for me, it was like I used to race like my friends and in sports day, school sports day, racing everyone, and then people kind
Yeah.
of start to catch on that you're semi fast, like you're all right, like you're good. So I wouldn't say I really fell fully in love with the running yet, but I was enjoying the feeling of that
Sport in
I
general.
might
Yeah.
have had a gift. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it kind of showed that I might, so, and then, you go to like the district sports, where all the schools come together and, you race your opponents there and you start to realize, all right, cool,
Yeah.
there are faster people out there in it. And that's kind of hard to
Mm-hmm.
take, because you think you're so fast and everyone knows you're the fast guy. And you go to these places and you meet all these fast kids and like, you're thinking it's gonna be easy, just like school, and you don't win. Like personally, I didn't even win my first district schools, so
Yeah.
it was quite an experience for me to lose, and
Shock
lose
to the
quite
system. Yeah.
convincingly. So yeah, it was a shock. I can tell you now, it was
Yeah.
like, wow, like okay, there's faster people in this world, and
Mm.
so yeah, from there, I think I went to my second district schools, and then I more prepared for it because after the first one, if I'm honest, I shed a few tears. Like my parents came to watch me, the aunties were there,
Oh.
all my friends were watching, even the people that don't even run, that just there to see your boy run in it because everyone knows he's just fast. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was quite a painful thing to lose that. And then you know there was this high school that I had this head teacher that her name was Miss Snow in it at the time, and
Okay.
she introduced me to Woodford Green Athletics, like the club.
Okay.
So from there, I didn't know anything about this. I just thought people just ran. So I went to this place and I met two women called Jean and Brenda, and they just had me doing little training sessions from there. little learning drills, and my drills were whack at the time, just doing high knees and kick
Yeah.
butts with your arms behind you and
You
stuff,
hadn't
all of that kind of joke
you hadn't
stuff
had
that.
any like proper you hadn't had any proper like scheduled, regimented training prior to that for in school or anything, no?
Nah, it was just me just running off raw, running
Just
raw,
run.
just aggression and
Hmm.
yeah. Like I didn't learn anything. Everything was just from there. So I was doing little things there. I wouldn't say like I developed a lot from that, but I was just like running a lot more. So the experience of running in general was just helping me get better. Just running more and more
Yeah, yeah.
helps you learn stuff without even realizing. It's like
Learning your
subconsciously you're
body, yeah.
learning different things. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just learning how to step and rhythm and stuff like that. So it
Hmm.
was a Tuesday and Thursday thing, and I kept it consistent because not only was at the time I still wasn't fully like invested in this. Like I was like, I like it, but I wouldn't say I loved it yet. So I enjoyed the social side
Mm.
of it as well. Being amongst all the other
Yeah.
kids that would come down because I assume a lot of parents would just want to get rid of their kids, so they just send them to Ashton, and I thought that was the case. So
Yeah, yeah.
it was just like a social, like after school club kind of thing. Like if I'm
Yeah.
honest, in it. So, but at the same time, I was still trying to be competitively, against everyone
Hmm.
else, and from there, you know, the following year came and the district schools came again. And this time I would say at the time I felt prepared and I thought, I'm training, like I got my own coach, like and these guys like they're
Yep.
just doing school runs and that. So I felt quite confident, I felt quite confident. And
Hmm.
obviously I was still a bit nervous though, because I was thinking I can't lose this time because then that means that, you know, maybe at the time, maybe it's not for me. But
That's it.
yeah, I went
That's
there
it.
pretty
Yeah, yeah.
confident, in my AstroTurf, the total 90s or whatever I was wearing at the
Wow.
time.
Wow.
Ran through, and I didn't even have spikes at the time. I didn't have spikes at the time yet. Didn't even have spikes at the time
Yeah.
because I think my mum was like, she'll buy me some. Because I was asking her the whole year round because some of the kids like had spikes, and I was like, oh, mum, can I get some spikes? And she was like, what's wrong with your running shoes? Like, what's wrong with the shoes I bought you? And I used to stress about that. So she had me just
Yeah.
running those, and I managed to win in the end, which was for me,
Hmm.
honestly, at the time, and I still, even to this day, I look back at it and I think it was one of my greatest like achievements for me because in my head I thought, I lost. I went another year, worked in my head at the time,
Hmm.
worked hard, came back, and I'm to win. So for me, that was a big lesson for myself. You put in
That's
the
real lesson.
work, you get the
Yeah.
results. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
that taught me something that stayed with me throughout the years to go. So for me, that was a big lesson. So yeah, and then from there, I grew a bit older. Started to move to the older ranks, like under 15,
Hmm.
under 13. I started doing like the young athletics leagues. Like some people might be familiar
Hmm.
with that. It's just the leagues where the clubs around the UK or south of England just come around and compete and score points for your club. And I'd do pretty well at those. Under 13, I'd win some of those. And you go to Essex champs, Essex schools, all those little champs.
Hmm.
And I started to do quite well, but sprinting at the time wasn't even my. I started to look at other events because you go to the track and you experience different events like long jump,
Yeah. Yeah.
hurdles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do a bit of throwing, all them little things. And I was also at the time I was good at hurdles, long jump, and I could sprint as well. But I wasn't the top sprinter. Like sprinting was there all the time, but I wasn't like progressing as well as some of the best guys. Like I
Hmm.
admit I wasn't even the fastest kid for my age group at the track. So I would
Yeah.
lean towards the hurdles and the long jump. And, at the time I had a passion for that hurdles and I progressed in that for like the whole year. Like that was my event. And at the time I thought to myself, I'm going to be a hurdler because, I love the sprinting, but it's not my thing. And I was also
Yeah.
doing long jump on the side. And for me, long jump was also a big passion of mine as well. So I was leaning towards those events a bit more, but obviously those events require speed as well. So my speed was always developing alongside those other events. So it was
Yeah.
always
Definitely.
where I am today is because of those continuing to do those events. So yeah,
Hmm.
I dominated the hurdles for about a year and moving on to under 15 where I had like a bit of a fall off. It was
Hmm.
that was probably one of my toughest years as an athlete under 15 because when you're young and you jump into a new age group, you fare the older athletes. And for me,
Yeah.
it was hard to continue competing with those guys and feel, because you almost feel like you're being thrown into a harder situation. Like you're like, oh, I'm not ready for that. You know, you was comfortable in under 13 and you're like, okay, like now these kids are older. Why am I in this age group? Because then you might be that age, but you don't feel like you're that age. It's like all of a sudden your age, your birthday's coming up, oh boom, let's throw you into under 15. So it was
Yeah.
difficult to deal with all the losses I took then, and
Transition.
kind of yeah, I started to really doubt myself a lot at that time. You know, I started to, like, I didn't even have many people to talk to at the time. Like I didn't, you know, I didn't have my coach that I have now. I just kind of, it was still fun, but I was trying to take it seriously at the same time. But you know, I didn't have anyone
Yeah.
to, you know, give me advice and say, you know
You
what,
didn't have
just
that
keep
support
going.
system
So
at that point.
yeah, exactly. So it was they. I feel like they were just throwing us out there to get points for, you know, the
Yeah,
team
yeah,
at the
yeah,
time, and I was just, yeah. And everyone was like, oh yeah, Joseph was good under 13. Like, what's going on? What's going on? And then I just got quickly forgotten. And then that's when I got rid of the hurdles as well. You know, hurdles was just getting too high, and I wasn't growing high at all either. So it was just, yeah, it was an imbalance. And then
yeah. The people were growing and
yeah,
everything was
it's
growing, but
crazy. Yeah, and all the other, like all the year nines at the time, they were like, to me, they're like 6 foot tall, and I was like, what's like, how are you this tall already? Like, so I'm gonna be that tall next year? Okay, cool. Like maybe next year I'll be that tall as well. So I started to do long jump.
yeah,
Long jump was my event. Long jump was my event. Yeah, it's a pretty long story, guys, isn't it? So I mean, if you're interested, you know, stay. But yeah, so I was doing long jump at the time, and that was something I was progressing in a little bit more.
hmm
Like I was, you know, in the top 10 rankings in the UK. So this is before I even knew about Power 10. Like, so I was
Were
just,
you
people were telling me, oh,
still
you're this
sprinting?
ranked
What?
and that ranked. Say that again.
Were you still sprinting? Were you still sprinting when you were doing long jump?
So I would, I would do like, you know, like the open grading meetings,
Yeah.
like the Woodford open meetings. I would do, you know, a
Oh, okay.
few 100-meter runs here and there. And, you know, I didn't run anything interesting, but it was always good to just run the 100 meters. And you know, compete against some of your friends and stuff, and you know that rivalry was always there. So I would do the
Yeah.
100 there, but I wasn't very confident in it. Like I was not confident at all. So my my focus was just on the long jump, but I would sprint because I enjoyed sprinting in general, and it
Yeah.
was just nice to just do
Yeah.
it on a fun basis. But at the time, I thought, you know what,
And it's
sprint is not going to be for
relevant
me.
to long jump too.
I'm gonna, yeah, because it's still, you know, you're training for it. You know, you're still training the sprinting, because
Yeah.
I never had a specific long jump coach. I always worked along, like I always did the sprinting stuff, and it just kind of helped my long jump, you know. So
hmm
I did long jump for a while, and that's when I started to kind of like start to learn stuff. Like I used to watch videos on YouTube of some of the greatest jumpers in the
hmm
world, and just the jumpers who are currently top of the rankings, and I used to just, you know, study those guys and learn technical stuff, because no one really, all the long jump stuff I did, no one really taught me it. So I just kind of watched things, read stuff, and watched the championships go on, and just learn little things from there. And that helped me gain, I wouldn't say it made me the, you know, the best long jumper, but I learned little things that helped me, which I was not getting from like a coach or anything. So, you know,
You're forced to
I
be
did that for a bit.
self-reliant. You know, go and
Yeah,
delve for
yeah.
that information yourself.
Yeah, because I wanted to be better, and I always believed that I could be better. And I felt like I saw these other guys jump, and I could see things that I couldn't exactly point out and say, boom, yeah, this is what I need to do. But I knew I wasn't doing something right. But I
hmm
figured out that I was achieving some of the distances in the long jump just from my raw talent. And the fact that I was able
Yeah.
to do that without so many technical things, it kind of taught me, you know what, if I learn these things, maybe I can take it to the next level. So
Yeah. Definitely.
that was a point in my, yeah, that was a point in my life where, instead of, you know, doing having going out and watching going out having fun and watching, like, you know, movies and stuff and watching cartoons, I would just be sitting on my computer studying these long jumpers, because I just wanted to be better, you
hmm
know. Yeah, and that's when I started to gain like a passion for it, you know, like I want to really better myself, because in my head I just thought everyone
Yeah.
else was doing this. I thought everyone else had this almost slight obsession with learning stuff. So figured if I'm
Yeah.
going to get better without a coach that's telling me what to do specifically, it's the only way I'm gonna, you know, jump and progress through it. So
Mhm.
yeah, I did long jump, and long jump worked out a bit for me throughout the years. You know, I made the English schools team. competed there my first time. It didn't go according to plan. I ended up coming 18th because the pressure of the competition really like overwhelmed
It
me.
got to you.
So I think I
Oh,
was, yeah, I think I was 14 at the time, and it was hard for me to adjust to that level of competition from, the typical Woodford meet. Like, I didn't even know about
yeah.
English schools championships at the time. I just got a letter in the post saying, "Oh, you've been picked to represent Essex," and I thought, okay, I'll go there. It shouldn't be too bad. And then, I
Another
found out it was on
competition.
Sky Sports, and I was like, yeah, yeah, I'm not, yeah, hoping this will answer like some questions that you guys might have later on about,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
later on about pressure and serious competitions and stuff. But I didn't deal with it well at all. I went there. I think I was ranked about fourth or third, and I just let the pressure get to me. I'd be on the runway and I'd just panic. Like my legs would feel like jelly. I just couldn't even build up my speed. And in my head, I was like, I'm ranked fourth, so maybe I can. And I kind of looked through the list. This is when I was obsessed with Power 10. So I looked through the list and I was thinking, okay, these two guys who are above me are not doing long jump. They're doing a different event. So statistically, I should come second. So I'd probably go, okay, if I jump my PB, I'll come second. And
Yeah.
so I went there thinking, oh, okay, I can get a medal, it'd be fine if I just jump where I normally jump. But as soon as I got down there and I saw the crowds and I saw the cameras, and I just lost it, and I just completely crumbled and finished 18th.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember walking away from that thinking maybe I'm just not, mentally tough enough to handle this sport. Because funny enough, after that competition, I remember I went to just another grading meeting or whatever it was, like a youth young athletics league, and I managed to jump a PB. So I was like, what? Like,
Yeah.
just figured, okay, English schools overwhelm me. Maybe I need to figure out how to strengthen my mind, and, you know,
Mm-hmm.
for the following years if I make these teams.
Wasn't
Um,
a physical, it was a more
yeah,
mental
and
issue there.
yeah, it was definitely a mental, because I felt like I trained so hard for that. I practiced in training. I was jumping distance in the track, so it was definitely a mental thing that no one again had taught me or
Yeah.
given me advice for that. So yeah, I just went there, and I learned from it though. I learned from it a lot. Like, some people would just kind of give up on that, but I really sat down, I thought about it, and I felt my parents talked to me and stuff, and it made me feel a little bit better. Not that my parents really understood it that much, but they just saw that I
Yeah, of
didn't
course.
perform as well. So yeah, yeah. So I moved forward from that. I'm not sure how much time we're going to be talking for, but yeah, I can skip forward a bit more. But yeah,
I found out the
um,
hard way. There's only an hour limit on here. Um, so yeah,
okay,
like yeah,
okay,
just
okay.
keep
Yeah, yeah,
going, and I'll adjust how long
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
need.
All right, yeah, 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 yeah. All right. So yeah, I'll just kind of overview the long jump situation. But yeah, I jumped for a few more years. I progressed and got better. You know, I learned so much. I worked on my speed a little bit more, and if I'm honest, my speed is what really carried me to those distances that I jumped as a
Mm-hmm.
youth. Because technically, I wasn't a good long jumper overall. Like, my technique was just awful. My run up was awful. Like, I didn't know how to set my run up, and it caused me to jump some big jump, no jumps a lot, and I used to get confused, and I didn't really have
Mm-hmm.
anyone to really teach me specifics on the long jump. Obviously, I had my coach now, Gladys, who was giving her best shot, to teach me as much as she could. Like, and I don't get it twisted, I learned so much from her just overall, but the technical long jump specifics was what I was lacking at the
Yeah.
time, which held me from really taking it to the professional level of long jump. But to this day, I'll say this now: long jump is still where my heart is at. It's my favorite event overall. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll get into the other reasons why I don't do it anymore. But it's been a
Yeah.
journey where I had to kind of push that to the side a bit. But yeah, and then as I grew to around 16, 17 age group, I
You
started
start
to sprint
more
again a
into
bit
just
more.
the sprint stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, you know, I've been training so hard throughout the years. I didn't even realize my speed was building up so much. I knew I got faster, but I didn't realize how fast I'd actually got, because I never actually tested myself against the clock. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember there was this one time I was like, I think I was in maybe year 10 or year 11. And I think Gladys messaged me, like, my coach, if you guys don't know, she messaged me saying she wants me to run at a grading meeting at Woodford. And she was like, yeah, you're gonna do the 100 meters. So I told some of my friends, yeah, I'm doing 100 meters. If you guys want to come and race, we can like rival and race. I was like, yeah, cool. We'll come and race each other. So I thought that'd be cool. So I was thinking, I was in school at the time as well. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna race tonight. Just gonna go out there and race my friends. Because I was thinking more just I want to beat my friends, not I want to run fast. Like, I didn't care about all that side. I just thought I'm coming here to just race against my friends and try and beat my friends so I can kind of be that guy, but whatever. So I've come to Woodford now, and I put down my time. I think I put down like 11:07 as my predicted time. And then I told my friends, yeah, put down the same time so we're in the same race, so we all race each other. And then Gladys comes down, and then she's seeing the list now, and she's like, what's going on here? Why have you put down 11:07? I was like, so I can race my friends and stuff. And then she's gone in the back, gone in there, spoke to some of the officials. Next thing you know, I see the sheet come out. I'm in the first race. She's put down my predicted time as 10:07 or something like that. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ. I'm thinking this woman is crazy. She's nuts, man. So I'm thinking, boy, this is gonna be sticky. So my boys are like, oh, we're not in your race, bro. Like, and I'm looking around, I'm seeing some big guys, like some men, like
they're already
with their
warming
own
up
blocks,
like 2 hours ahead of time.
Bro.
Yeah.
I want like, bro, I'm warming up 30 minutes before my team, like doing a couple. These men are like on the track, got their own personal blocks, like like what it means to have your own personal blocks, like sprint suits, like the all-in-ones, like the ones I only seen those on TV. So I was just like, yo, like this is like I remember just lining up and Gladys like, yeah, go, like go forward. And I'm there, slowly taking off my things and like putting my spikes, and I'm shaking, bro. I'm literally shaking. I'm scared. Like I'm thinking this is gonna be a mess. So I'm like getting out in the blocks, and then I don't know what happened, but my heart just started racing. The gun goes, I push off the blocks, like I just felt like this whoosh, and I was just like ahead, like, and I didn't see anybody, and I just remember just running out of fear, because I'm scared of these big guys, and I'm running. I'm thinking, okay, these guys are gonna go past me now. I'm running. Next thing you know, I cross the line, and I've run 10:88, and I'm thinking.
So what time did you run prior to that? Like that made you so.
So my PB at the time was my time officially at the time was, I think it was 11:37 officially, like without assisted wind. If I'm going to be honest with you lot, innit? Because I could say I ran a couple windy times, but the controversial windy times. So say what?
That's a big jump.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I crossed the line, and I'm thinking
you had that little gap in it where you said you were building, you were working on your speed a lot. You felt you were getting faster, but it wasn't until like you had that race where you thought, like, I feel it now.
Yeah.
I thought, and
that not only did it, show me how fast I was, it also made me think, okay, well, I guess Gladys knows her stuff. Because for her to come down and confidently put a ute in a big man's race, like, which could have gone wrong, and I could have become disheartened, and someone that doesn't want to do the sport anymore. She knew that I was going to do that, and that one day is the day when I realized, all right, Gladys is my support. That's my team. She knows me, so yeah. So that's the kind of coach relationship you want to have with your coach-athlete relationship. Your coach knows you, and they believe in you, and they kind of they're able to make the decisions that you're not confident enough to make. And I'd ran that time, and I remember I was buzzing. I was buzzing. I couldn't believe I was thinking about years ago, like months ago, thinking, I wish I could run 11:0, 11:1, and I didn't even run 10:9. I jumped all the way to 10:8, and all my friends, they ran their times as well. And like, I completely jumped away from my friends. Like I was on another level to them now. I was like, so it was almost awkward, It was like, Like there's nothing to say. There wasn't much to argue about, or
Yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah,
yeah, you know how it's like, oh next time I'm gonna get you, oh you just dipped on me on the line,
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
you know I fell out my blocks,
It's
like
like,
that
oh,
kind of excuses people make. Oh, you
left you
know I
fast.
felt, yeah, yeah, yeah. So it just jumped from there, and then I was just like, boy, this is another thing, and then I thought, okay, well now I can take the sprinting thing seriously. You know, I'm a sprinter.
Hmm.
Like I officially believe that I'm a
Yeah.
sprinter, and you know, I started looking at the rankings. I was like, all right, I'm in the top five, top six sprinters, and just worked from there. And then, you know, I think I still did long jump for one more year. I think I did long jump for one more year, but
Mhm.
I basically went into my first year under 20, which was also scary, you know, going into under 20 because, you know, there's 3 years in under 20, so
Yeah,
there's
of
another
course.
two men that are older than you. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna go straight into the fact that, you know, I ended up, you know, running and pulling my hamstring, you know, for the first time. Like again, I hope I'm, you
Yeah.
know, answering some of the questions as I tell my story. So like
Yeah.
I went to this race and you know, this is before I learned so many things about, you know, warming up. I would still do, you know, a really amateur warm up where I wouldn't
Mhm.
stretch properly or, you know, do my drills properly or just do the things that I only did what I knew, but I didn't really take it that seriously. I'd seen athletes get injured all the time, and I just thought, oh, I'm invincible. You know, I run all the time, I don't get injured. So I ran in this race, and I ended up pulling my hamstring. And you know, a lot of people say they pulled a hamstring, but if you haven't really actually pulled your hamstring, you don't really know what it's really like. You know, to actually
Yeah.
pull your hamstring. So I ended up having that situation where I got pushed off the track, and you know, it was quite daunting. I thought to myself, you know what? I'll be back in 2 weeks or whatever. Like, just rest at home,
Mhm.
ice my leg, like the usual hurt my leg kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
situation. So I thought it'd be fine, you know, be cool. And then you stay at home and weeks go by. You can't really walk properly without limping. Everything's hurting, and
Hmm.
you're thinking, what's really going on? Like, and then you start going on the internet, typing in hamstring, how long you're seeing 6 weeks to 6 months, and you're like, what is this about? Like,
Yeah.
how is this? And this is where you just started to really take the sport seriously. And then, so I started thinking to myself, again, I didn't have a support system. No one was telling me specifics what to do. Like a lot of people at that age,
Hmm.
they had people who tell them step by step, you know, do this and do that. So I ended up just basically sitting on it a bit, you know, doing a couple of the stretches that someone told me to do, or just doing little things that, you know,
Yeah.
stretch it out, strengthen it and stuff. I didn't know the big rules that I know now that would have helped me. Because to be honest, I feel like that
Yeah.
injury I got at the time, if I'd learned a lot of the things that help prevent injury and build injury, I wouldn't be in the situation that I'm in now, currently injured. I wouldn't have got injured so many times in my career. But yeah, I
Yeah.
eventually got better. You know, my legs started to heal up, and you know, I just started running again. And the fact that I got back, I just thought to myself, oh yeah, it's just the thing where you sit down, rest, and you know, you'll be back. So, you know, I just kind of rested and
You're back to
got
the
back
same
to the gym.
level.
Yeah, yeah, back to the same level. And started sprinting again, started doing my stuff again. Like I ended up running a PB, and I thought to myself, okay, so I'm getting better anyway. So I never really thought anything of it. I didn't think, oh, I need to change my program. I need to start doing these warm up and these warm ups and that. But what I didn't realize is, as you're growing as an athlete, you're getting stronger. Your body's, you know, getting stronger naturally. So it's not going to affect you as much as when you're a senior.
Yeah.
You know, so
Naturally, as you grow up. Yeah.
yeah, when you're a senior athlete, you know, you're flexed out. All the decisions you make is what is going to affect what you do. But as a young athlete, you can kind of wing it in a way, but you have to, it's better to learn things instead of just wing it. But at
Hmm.
the time you could do that. And I never realized that was a thing where, you know, you have to change
Yeah.
your outlook on the things that you do. So, you know, I started, you know, running races again, and it was going okay. I ran a PB here and there. And then, you know, there was this
Is this
champs.
what under 20s, under three?
First year under 20s. This was first year under 20s, yeah. And then yeah, I did a couple more
Okay.
races, and there was this champs, you know, the world youths. which was in 2013 at the time. I was still, that was my probably my last year of long jumping where I was doing both at the same time. And you know,
Yeah.
I decided I want to make that team. You know, I heard about it and I decided I wanted to compete at that team. So it was the first year where I went into a
Mm-hmm.
training, like I went into training. I thought to myself, okay, I want to make this team. It's the first time I'd gone into winter, like it's in my goal, you know, like because
Yeah.
before I just compete for fun and just run and whatever happens happens. Where if I get a letter in the post to go here, go there, whatever. So that was my goal. So I trained hard now. Like, you know, I did the sessions. I turned up to all my training sessions. You know, before I'd neglect sessions, I wouldn't turn up to every single session. I would just kind of, if I felt all right, I'd go down. If I didn't feel like it, or if I had something else to do, I'd just go
That's
do that.
when you feel, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I made that decision. I'm going to commit to
Yeah.
this because I wanted to be. I saw a lot of athletes, you know, with their GB bags and their GB kit and ties, and I thought, yeah, I want that. You know, I want to wear that.
Yeah.
I want to take
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
GB
Yeah.
bag to school and like
Yeah.
walk
Yeah.
around school, and people ask, you know, what bag is that? Like, I wanted that kind of stuff, you know. So, um,
Mm.
I thought, okay, that's the youngest that you can be a GB athlete. So I thought, okay, I want to make that team. So I did the work and training, trained hard. You know, I felt myself getting faster and stronger. But again, I didn't have no coach telling me what to do in long jump. It was all again just watching videos. And then
Mm-hmm.
I ended up before I could even start off, I ended up tearing my hamstring again. You know, and yeah, you know, it was just awful. And you
Yeah.
know, I thought to myself, like like what's happening? You know, my goals, my dreams are gone before they've even started. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna be able to make this team because the physio that I saw at the that Lee Valley at the time, not my specific one, just someone who's giving me advice. Yeah, it's gonna be this long, and I'm not gonna be able to make this team. And you know, it was really hard for me to take that on
Yeah.
and play because you know I was like trying so hard to make that team, and that was my goal as a young athlete. But I ended up just again not
Yeah.
being serious. I ended up again doing the same thing, just waiting, not doing anything that is going to help me really, you know, develop. So as the months went by, I ended up getting better again. You know, the World Youth qualification was coming closer, but
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't gonna, you know, like it was like a few weeks to make the team. I hadn't done much training prior, but I'm gonna go for it anyway, you know.
Yeah.
And so I made the decision to just kind of train and work towards it. I also got picked to compete at the World School Champs, which was in Czech Republic. So I decided I'm gonna go to
Mm-hmm.
that and compete because it was my first ever international like call up ever. So like where you fly overseas and whatever. So I decided
Yeah.
to just go for that really. And Gladys was my coach at the time. Didn't want me to compete there because she thought I wasn't ready. Because you know I hadn't been time and I didn't really understand that you have to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt ready personally. You know, I felt I want to go there. I didn't want to miss out on that
Yeah. Yeah.
experience. And I also wanted that was my only chance to, you know, compete at World
Did you
Youth,
feel
which
ready? Did you feel ready, or did you just want to do it?
yeah, in my head I felt ready in it. Like now I know I wasn't ready, but at the
Yeah.
time I'll tell you I thought I was ready. You know, as a young athlete, you just go by impulse. You know, you don't really
Mm.
think about things like, oh yeah, I've been injured, I've been
Yeah.
resting, you haven't done any winter as much winter training as you wanted to do, you haven't done the mid trainings, the stuff like that. I just thought I want to go there, so I'm not gonna just sit at home and do nothing.
Mm.
And and I thought if I don't make that team, you know, I'm never gonna make that team because where the way youth athletics works is you you can't compete when your age has gone up. So I ended up you know going to that
Mm-hmm.
championships and I ended up doing actually really well. I ended up jumping the standard, but the the selectors decided not to
Okay.
pick me anyway. The selectors decided not to pick me for the World Youth Championships, and that was probably one of the biggest upsets of my whole career. And even to this day, it still makes me feel some type of way because you know I'd
Definitely.
worked so hard for that
Yeah.
and gone through all of that, and to be told that you can't compete there is something that broke me a lot. And at the time I couldn't see the positives of the fact that I jumped the standard anyway, and had years to come, and young youth athletics doesn't matter as much as
Hmm.
the development throughout the bigger years as a senior. So it was hard for me to take that
Hmm.
into play. But after a while, I kind of got to the point where, okay, I've got next year the World Juniors, the World Junior champs. I'm gonna try make that team.
Hmm.
So you know, same again. You train hard, winter, put in the work. Still don't know stuff, technical stuff. Still don't know a lot of things that athletes again at that age don't know, because it was a bit of a rivalry. My group against
Yeah.
Green Valley people, and these are the top guys who train with some of the top coaches in the country, and it was me trying to squeeze into that team. So trained hard, went into 2014. You know, I went into the indoor championships in 2014, and there was the 60 meters. I went there not really expecting to do well. I just wanted to run and see where I'm at because I've worked so hard, and I got through the heats
Yeah.
comfortably, the semi-final comfortably, and then the final came, and I thought, okay, I've got guys that are faster than me. I'm not probably not gonna win this, but I'm just gonna give it what I got, go through, and just ended up getting the blocks pushed
Hmm.
off, and then you know ended up pushing off the blocks, and I ended up somehow winning that race. But unfortunately, as you can probably guess, I ended up tearing my hamstring again. I know this is gonna get repetitive. It's gonna get repetitive.
Uh,
It's awful because yeah, and this
yeah.
this was tough because this was a lot worse than the other two. Because for those that don't know, there's three different types of hamstring grades of tears. There's a grade one, grade two, and grade three. So the prior hamstring tears I had in the past were grade ones, and I managed to get my first grade two hamstring tear, which was really really bad.
Mm.
And this is when it was so bad that Gladys decided that we need to start seeing some people to help us, prevent this from happening now.
Yeah.
And that's when I started to learn about physios, doctors, and osteopaths and all those sort of people, and learning that these are the
Hmm.
things that need to be done, like to prevent this from happening in the future. And you need to build strength. And sometimes it's not always your hamstring that's the problem. It's sometimes different parts of your bodies that affect your hamstring. So yeah, I just kind of
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
yeah, I worked alongside those guys and ended up, you know, getting better slowly. I had needles put in my leg, shock therapy stuff, and vibrating things on my hamstring to try and help, promote the
Hmm.
healing. And just started to dawn in my head, why do I keep doing this? Why does this keep happening? When I achieve something, I just get pulled down. Overall, like that overall strengthened me as an athlete to this day, and it helps me because I went through a lot of dark times where I doubted myself and started to think something was wrong with me. And working from there, coming forward, I had to try and come back because I thought I might do the same thing I did last year, come back and try and make the team. But unfortunately, it didn't go that way this time because it really
Yeah.
took a toll on me. My strength was gone, my speed was gone, and I ended up not making that team either. And that was
Yeah.
for me another
The head was
difficult,
gone as well.
yeah, that was for me a really, really difficult time because I started to really think, I've gone through 2 years under 20. I haven't made my goals. I haven't made a GB team. I haven't got a GB vest. Like, I'm going to be 18 and nothing's really happening for me. Like,
Hmm.
I see it like that now. At the time, I'd still say I achieved things. So don't get it wrong. I still achieved things, but when you have a goal, it's
Yeah.
what you don't want to. You want to have that goal. You want to get to that goal. You don't want to leave until you achieve that goal. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I got to. I told myself. I sat down with Gladys, and this is when we really planned what we were gonna do. I sat down with Gladys and decided that I'm gonna work with Gladys and really decide I want to make this last chance of making GB. It was the European Juniors, and I was like, okay, we're gonna take things and really plan each session and decide what works for me and work towards making that team because it was my last opportunity. And I thought to myself,
Hmm.
it's not even a thing where I want to make this team. I have to make this team. Like, this is literally my dream, like my last opportunity to, you know, be a GB
wherever you
junior.
can. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna go in there and I put in the work again, more harder than I've ever worked before. And I started watching videos and sprinting, like trying to learn different technical stuff. And, you know, I started to work on my diet a bit more, you know, because at the time before I used to just eat whatever, chicken and chips after school, chicken and chips all the time, sweets, whatever, pizzas and, Jamaican food
Yeah.
dumplings and, all of that stuff. Just back
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
middle of
Yeah.
it, eating and whatever. Because,
Mm.
it was, for me, it was all right. So, I didn't know anything about putting on weight. Like, I just thought if I'm fast, I'm
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
Like,
One
eating
thing at a
whatever's,
time, innit?
yeah, well, it's not gonna, and I remember someone telling me that, I know it's probably a cliche, but, you are what you eat, like, and stuff like that. And I started to read stuff about energy and, weight, power to weight ratio. And I started thinking, all right, I'm eating some rubbish. I'm going to college and just
Mm.
eating all this rubbish, like in the morning, sweets, and just thinking I can run fast. So I
Yeah.
started to really edit that. I started to, like, it wasn't the best, but I started to, eat more protein and learn about, carbs and vegetables. And because I never used to eat many vegetables at the time and fruits, I used to
Mm-hmm.
just not touch those at all. And I started to really balance my diet a bit more and also not overindulge in food as well, because sometimes you just eat and you don't really need to eat, but you continue anyway because, it's nice. So, and
Yeah.
snacking as
Yeah.
well, I kind of cut those things out a little bit because
Mm-hmm.
I thought to myself, what do I really want more, these foods, or do I want to run fast? So I made those sacrifices and then, worked towards that year. So that would probably be one of the biggest things that I changed as an athlete, which was eating well. So I kind of went into that year
Yeah.
still kind of daunted and upset about the last seasons and doubting myself a bit, but also believing that I've done everything I could to make this team now. So there's no play on my part where I've missed out on this or neglected this. But I've decided to do the things that I can do on my part better and actually go into this champs. So,
Yeah.
I'd, gone through all the races throughout that season. It got to the trials, and I remember I just kind of thought to myself, okay, I'm in shape. I've got the rankings. I've got the standard. Now all I need to do is secure second place. Like, that's minimum, and I'll make the team. So that was my goal.
Mm-hmm.
Just secure minimum second place. Not third, because third is not guaranteed, because they can, how they are. You know how the GB Athletics is. If you get third, it's kind of like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
we can decide to pick you or pick somebody else. But second is like, you're definitely going to this champs. So I've gone into
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
champs now, and I know I'm in my head. I know I've run the times. I know I'm capable of this, but I'm starting to think I'm jinxed. Someone like it's just not gonna happen. So I've got through the rounds. I've conserved as much energy as I can in the heat and the semi-final, because I don't want any excuses this time. I'm thinking I don't want to go into that final tied or whatever. So
Yeah.
I did the minimum requirements to get through the rounds. The heats, I pretty much got out and jogged and literally watched the competitors behind me as they got closer, just run as slow as I could. And then the semi-finals, I did the same
Yeah.
again. And then because I just wanted to be as fresh as I could, so I got into that final and I ran through, got out the blocks really fast, and then I was ahead.
Yep.
And I just, at the time I didn't understand deceleration and relaxing. I was tensing too much. I ended up coming second, but the job was done. So I'd made the team. So for me, the goal was already completed. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be a
Yeah.
GB athlete. I'm gonna represent my country. So for me, I was, that was amazing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was, in the newspaper and people talking about me, doing interviews, doing these sort of things. Introducing myself to, some of the nice things about the sport. You know, got picked. To I was next month
Yeah.
I was flying to Sweden because the European Junior Champs were in Sweden. And then at the time, I didn't realize how fast, the top
Mm-hmm.
two, us three as the GB athletes were, because they ended up looking at the European rankings. And to be honest, the rankings weren't that mad like, we were like the top people in Europe. And I didn't even realize. So essentially, what I'm saying is that final wasn't going to be much different to the European Junior final. And once I figured that out,
Yeah.
it kind of made me feel
Yeah.
not as
Yeah.
scared for these champs, because I thought, like, the only difference is now I'm putting on a GB vest and I'm flying to another country and I'm just racing these guys. Yeah,
You've already gone against
yeah, exactly,
hardest
exactly,
competition
exactly.
already.
So it didn't overwhelm me like the previous champs. So I'd gone there. The experience was amazing, you know, going into the hotels, flying over to see being in another country, you know, like I wouldn't say it was a holiday, but it just felt like something. It felt like a reward, you know. It felt amazing, you know. We didn't pay for it. It was just you got to fly to this country and then
Yeah.
compete and do what you love. So it was like the setup as well was so professional, you know. It was like nothing I'd ever seen, and that's when I said to myself, you know, I love this. You know, this is what I want to do as my job. This is what I want to do. Like this is what I want to do. Like for the next whatever. So I've gone there, got through the rounds. You know, it's crazy because the heats and the semi-final are not even in the same day. You know, I've gone to this. You know, gone through the rounds, and the finals come the next day,
Yeah.
and like I'm
Yeah,
feeling. I've
nice
watched the
resting day.
champs on TV throughout the years, and I'm thinking, right, I'm actually on TV doing the same thing that these big guys do on the television. So I'm essentially, you know, almost one of those guys. So I've competed. You know, the finals come. You know, I'm running my heart out in these heats in the semi-final. Don't like not like the champs in England, because I just wanted to make sure I did the best I could. And
Yeah.
yeah, just in case. You
Just in
never know what
case.
these guys are gonna do. So, the finals come, I jumped out the blocks,
Of
come
course.
through, and I've somehow bagged the silver medal. You know, I've gone there, won a silver medal, and that was, you know, it's my most
Hmm.
big achievement to this day. Disregarding like times and speed and stuff like that, but yeah, I've gone there, I've won a silver medal now, and I thought to myself,
Yeah.
you know, I had all those upsets, but it was all worth it. You know, it was all worth it for me to achieve that and, you know, get that goal ticked off my list.
Definitely.
And I was really, yeah,
Made you the
for
athlete you are
sure,
today
for
as well.
sure. So, you know, a lot came with that. You know, I started to get known by the GB teams and squads and stuff like that. You know, people starting to know me. I'm starting to do interviews. I'm starting to do this and that. I ended up getting sponsored by Puma, signed a deal with them, and that was overwhelming as well. I started getting all these emails from
Mhm.
coaches in the States. You know, they want me to come over and
Was that, was that all after your the Puma stuff? Was that all after
yeah,
your
yeah.
silver medal, or was it after like times
Literally,
and
I
everything?
I ran after I came second in the 100 meters. This guy called Nicholas, he came up to me. He's the leading Puma guy, and he literally came up to me face to face and was like, you know, you ran second, and we like your, you know, your vibe and stuff. We like the person, you seem like smiling, whatever, and you know your times are good, and we want you to be part of our team to develop for the future.
Yeah.
So, but I'd already spoke to so many coaches from the States who wanted me to come over and compete for them
Hmm.
as well. You know, free education and all those sort of things. And I thought to myself, it was a big decision for me to make, but you know, I didn't know much about going to the States.
You got offers from
Yeah,
like
loads of
colleges over
different
there and stuff.
universities. I didn't even know anything about those sort of things, so that was all new to me. But I knew about being sponsored. Like I knew all about that. I seen athletes who were like, "Oh yeah, I'm signed by Nike. I'm signed
Yeah,
by
yeah,
this. I'm signed by that." And
yeah.
so I was like,
Yeah.
"All right, cool, yeah." Sat down, spoke to Gladys and stuff. Spoke to some of my friends and that, some of the athletes that were already sponsored, and I wanted to be one of them, you know. So I decided to sign with Puma, and then you know how the sponsors work. You know, they pay you and they send you kit
Hmm.
and stuff, and that kind of allowed me to just be, you know, continue the full-time athlete life, and you know, I pursued that for
Mm.
some time, and yeah, from there, that's mainly my journey up to the point where, you know, I was at my peak as an athlete. So yeah, that's the main story for me in that aspect as a developing athlete. And then after that, you know, it was, you know, senior, which we can go into if you want me to talk about
Yeah.
specific things. So I know we're running out of time. Yeah,
I'm going to now.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that
yeah,
was the first question, and it's like almost time. Um, so what I'll do actually is I'll come
yeah,
off
yeah, 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 for
and then
sure,
come
man.
back
I'm
on.
up
So we've
to
got
talk
another
about
hour if
whatever
you
you
got
guys want to
time.
hear, you know.
All right, cool.
Yeah, come back, guys.
Right.
Come back, guys. Got
Everyone
lots
who's
more to
watching now,
say,
I'm gonna
lots more
come back on
questions
in
to
like
answer.
1 minute,
Anything you
and
guys
then
want to hear,
I'll
I'm
come
here.
live again and
Here,
react to
here
you.
for
Yeah.
you guys.
Yes, people. Yeah, welcome back. Episode 7. Just waiting for Joseph to come back on. So yeah, the first part was on who Joseph was and his come up in the game. I will go into more depth in this second part now. As he comes back on, 1 second. If you do have any more questions for him, just put it in the question box or just put it in the comment section, and we'll get to those as well. Some really valuable information here for you, and it's refreshing to see, someone that likes to express themselves so much and in detail as well. But let's get back on now.
I'm back, guys.
That was a
long question, isn't it? Because there was no way of me telling that without kind of going into detail on how I got there. Because I could have just said I won this, won that, won this, won that, won that. But I'm sure some people might want to.
I was just saying it's refreshing to. I've had a few people on that like to talk, but it's good. It's not a bad thing because you go into detail and you answer certain questions within the detail, But yeah, moving on. So the first one was, about you and your come up and everything else. What's your thoughts on like bringing it forward now? Like, what are your thoughts on the current events happening, like Corona, like and everything else, and how are you overcoming it yourself?
For me, the situation with the coronavirus, first of all, it was something that I will admit I didn't take as seriously when I heard the news and stuff. I thought it would just kind of wash over, and to see how everything kind of developed and, how many casualties and how serious it's changed, life as we see it today, and who knows how long it's going to affect things. And for me, it was such a rush and it was crazy to see the whole country, most of the world, just go into like lockdown, and everyone's just at home and trying to stay sane and doing whatever, and social media is becoming more active. So the way I had times where I wouldn't say I was always progressing throughout that time. I just kind of went day by day, training on and off as much as I could. But yeah, it was tough to get through that personally, because I got so used to life and the fact that I didn't take it seriously. So it was like it just kind of jumped to me straight away. So it was tough. It was kind of tough for me.
And for obviously for those that don't know, because you obviously cut off your story at like 2015, basically. You had a recent serious injury, but a serious operation as well that you've had to overcome.
Yeah.
So are you in this time now? Have you been able to go back to training?
Yeah. I'm training now, but I'd say I'm training very smart. I'm kind of listening to my body and just kind of taking each day as it comes. Like, I wouldn't say my training schedule is literally how it used to be. It would be like 6 days a week, this. It's like I train and then how does it feel? How does my body feel? Work towards that, because this injury is something I'm still learning myself, and I'm still learning how to adapt to certain things, because I've never actually injured my quad before. Like, all the past has been hamstring injuries, so I know a lot about hamstring injuries. I know how to do this and do that. So for my quad, it's all new, and I wouldn't say I'm completely experienced with that. I go online, I speak to people, I try this and I try that. So it's also been hard in the quarantine situation, because I don't have my strength and conditioning coach with me to be helping me do these exercises, and we were limited to the tools and accessories you have to work with it. And it's just me managing how much, listening to my body and learning how things feel and deciding what is best for me. And keeping track of how my body reacts to this and that. So my training is not full on at the moment. It's not really, I wouldn't say hit and miss, but it's just really taking each day as it comes, which is not ideal, but it's the only way I can manage this injury without potentially making it worse.
Yeah. So obviously everything is starting to like ease off now. Hopefully there isn't the second wave. Yeah, like unfortunately, people have lost their lives and everything else. But to some people, it's like, sad to say, but it's almost a blessing in disguise. Obviously, with the Olympics being postponed and everything else. So what are your plans now for the future?
Yeah, again, I'll, reflect on what you said about, respecting the lives that were lost and
Yeah.
taking that into consideration and not just seeing it as, okay, well, Olympics is next year, it's good for me, but also seeing the seriousness of it and remembering those people. So I want to emphasize how serious that is. And I'm not going to sit here and act like and be selfish and just talk about the fact that I can do this and do that. But yeah, on the positive side of it, I went into this year thinking it's the Olympic year. I'm 24 years old. I want to make that team, and I'm not in a position where I'm likely going to make that team.
Yeah.
And I had to accept that. And time waits for nobody, so I just kind of decided to myself, I'm gonna kind of try to make the team, but it's so unlikely that I'm probably not, but I'm still not gonna just completely eradicate it and forget it. So as time went on, I started to realize maybe not. It's probably not gonna happen. So I had accepted and moved my mind to next year. And then the situation happened, and I was hearing they were gonna cancel it or postpone it. I'd heard that they don't postpone Olympics; they just cancel them because in the past, because postponing would mess up the timeline. And I thought to myself, well, if it gets cancelled, then even if I was in the best shape of my life, it's going to be cancelled anyway. So it was like, okay, well, I wouldn't have made the team anyway, so now I just need to look forward to next year. And then I heard the postponing, and that shocked me because I didn't expect that at all. I was going to say, yeah, they wouldn't postpone it. Yeah, because with even the world champs being that year as well, I just thought, nah, it's not going to happen. So I heard that now, and I thought to myself, okay, well, like, is this like a chance for me? I sat and I thought to myself, I got a whole year and this time added on to build myself up, and like develop my strength and, work on preventing injury and, get myself in that shape to make that team. So it was a good moment for me. I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of feel happy about that because realistically though, I wasn't gonna make that team. So it was nice to actually look at that and think, oh, okay, I've got a chance, And then I started thinking, I have to make this team.
What was the main reason behind your doubt? Was it the fact that you injured your quad so seriously?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was the fact that I'd torn it in August. Then I had surgery the end of September, and I wasn't gonna get back on my feet till end of December. And I thought, this ain't no like any champs. This is the Olympic Games. You can't just wing it and expect to make that team.
Yeah.
I had to be realistic. I'm not Superman. Like, I didn't sit and think, yeah, I'll be injured and I'll just start running in June and May and I'm gonna make the team. Like, so that was how I kind of decided that I had to really be realistic with myself with that situation. Yeah.
So now, how you feel now and what you're doing now is the possibility of making Olympics. Is it a possibility now in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, I'm confident. I believe that I have the ability to do so. I think I have the speed, I have the strength, mental strength. It's just I need to work on preventing myself from breaking down now. That's my main goal, like to work on not breaking down. Like, as I describe us, you describe athletes like a car. You need to make sure you're finely tuned, like everything's in
Hmm.
working order to run fast, or drive fast. So I think that's my only lacking aspect as an athlete, that I can't, you know, keep myself in one piece. So I believe that's the only thing holding me back from achieving those goals. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing that's on my mind. Like I feel like I'm strong in other areas, and I've shown that I have potential to run these times that are able to contend with, some of the best guys in it. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty confident that if I can master that part of it, that I would make that team. Yeah.
Do you think that that was? It seems like it's like a recurring thing in terms of obviously the potential is there, the mental toughness was built through the years. The speed is obviously there, the raw talent. Um, but do you think that was one aspect of that definitely stood out as like one thing you need to work on in terms of like strengthening specific places, or just do it, like, making sure that you're fully ready before you go into competition in terms of like strength and conditioning and all the extra stuff that you don't necessarily do on the track.
Yeah, they're so important, and I learned the hard way, you know. I
Mm,
learned because I'm not gonna lie, I always neglected the after stuff, the little things,
yeah.
warm down, stretch before you go, all those sort of things. And like they are so important to remember to look after your body, because at the end of the day, you're putting your body through such stress by running fast. We're not made
Hmm.
to run that fast, and you're pushing your body to the limit. So
So they
it
so they
is
say.
actually not
Like,
just, yeah, what I'm saying? That's another argument we can get into, but yeah, um, yeah, like it's so important. It's more important than what you're doing in itself, the sprinting, the eating, everything. Like looking after your body is the number one thing that an athlete should, you know, take. It's just so important to look after your body,
yeah.
because it can't perform the way you want it to if it's not taken care of. Because that's just with everything. If you don't
Hmm.
take care of anything, it's not going to perform the task you want it to do. If you don't look after it, if you just throw it around and just don't take it seriously, it's not going to perform well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I personally, I would say that's the most important thing that an athlete should take into consideration,
Look
like
after yourself
as you grow. Yeah, look
outside
after
the
yourself,
track just as much as you do on the track.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely,
Um,
definitely.
but yeah, thank you for that. I obviously like taken all the questions I've asked through people throughout the week. And I got like I think about 8 solid like quick fire type questions
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you, that will bring value to people watching and the viewers and everything else.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, starting off nice and simple, and I think like every athlete or whatever will get asked this. What's your training schedule like? Obviously, what was your training schedule like before when you were like properly
Yeah,
dedicating
yeah, when I was
everything
doing
to your
my,
lifestyle?
yeah, yeah,
What
yeah,
is
for
it like
sure,
now?
for sure. Yeah. So when I was at the high level, when I was, running my times and stuff, I would literally train 6 times a week, literally six.
Mm-hmm.
Be, I would do a lot of speed stuff on the Monday, like blocks, 30s, 60s, all of that kind of
Yeah,
stuff, 80s, sled work, weight jacket, that kind of stuff, which is one of my favorite sessions. But then
yeah,
Tuesday would be like, which would be day two. Tuesday would be literally me doing like the hard. I would say the donkey work. That's how I describe it. The 300s, the back to
the
backs,
speed
the
endurance type
three
stuff.
250. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like just pushing your body to those limits. And then Wednesday would be me in the gym. You know, doing some
Mm-hmm.
power work. Cleans, and obviously that was new to me as well. So I wouldn't say I'm developed in that weight room yet. I'm still learning that aspect, but just doing what my strength and conditioning coach taught me, just little things,
Mm-hmm.
working on that. And then Thursday it would be similar to Tuesday, but it would be like if those that know, it would be like a shorter version of it, like 120s, 150s, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Focusing a bit more on speed, but like in between, like it would be in between Monday and
Like
Tuesday type session.
condition type stuff.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. And then Friday would be another gym session where I would do my, second gym program, because I'd have two gym sheets for each week. So I'd work on that, and then
Mm.
I'd work on that on the yeah. And then Saturday would be where I'd run up the hills, like hill session. That's like the 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 real killer work, where I get my
Lactic
speed.
Valley, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. For those that don't know, we both know about it, this place called Lactic Valley. But yeah, it's like
Yeah.
running up hills and pushing your body to the limits. Like I think there's
Mm-hmm.
this hill we run up. It's like almost 200 meters long. It's like the incline's crazy. But yeah, that's my 6 week. That was my 6 week training program. I can see reminiscing on the days, but yeah, like that was my 6 week program. And then Sunday would just be a rest for me. That would be my day where I just sleep or
So
yeah.
in the gym, would it just be power work, or would you do strength or anything else?
Yeah, it would be a mixture of both, to be fair. It would be a mixture of both. I would be doing, you know, like lifting, not heavy, but endurance, like muscle stuff and big strength stuff, pushing
Mm-hmm.
stuff and pull-ups and body weight exercises and activation stuff, like just speed stuff, like just learning to be efficient with your body and activating certain muscles. And again, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, I'm not saying I know a lot about that. I'm still learning that aspect. So it's for me, I'm still developing, learning about the gym. But yeah, that's most of the
Yeah.
stuff I would do.
So the second question that pretty much correlates with the first. What's your diet like?
So my diet has been mixed. So I'm
Do
gonna
you
be
change
straight
your
up.
diet based
When
get ready for a race or something or anything?
yeah, like when I'm at my best and I'm training well and everything's going well, I'm eating well. I'm eating lots of carbs, you know, like sweet potatoes, not like white rice and like white pasta, just brown pasta, brown rice, those sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
Lean meat, like proper lean chicken breast, and like salmon, and you know,
Yeah.
staying away from red meats and those sort of things, and lots of
So
protein shakes. And
instead of going through everything, like break down a typical day, like a typical training day. What would you eat from the morning to when
oh,
you go
okay,
to
okay,
sleep?
yeah. I was very, very, very serious about my diet, so it's not gonna sound entertaining at all. Like it's gonna sound very, very boring. But I would pretty much eat the
Mm-hmm.
same thing every day, which is for me that was a
Yeah, that's
chore.
that's how that's the best way to track stuff anyway.
Yeah, it's
You
it's
know.
difficult. It's difficult, and I don't miss being that serious at all, because I love food like individually. I love food, so it was
Yeah.
literally I'd wake up and I'd eat porridge with like banana before my training session, maybe an egg, depending on how much time I got to get ready for training. And
Yeah.
I'd do my session, then I'd have a protein bar, a proper protein bar, not those Nature Valley ones you get from Tesco, the proper, like for
Like
example
flapjack
grenade
thick
bars.
ones.
Yeah, not them. Yeah, so I'd have one of those, and then I have like a protein shake. That's 40 grams of protein banked away. That's how I used to think of it.
Is
And
this
then
after training or before? Still.
yes, straight after training, straight after training. Yeah,
Okay. So you'd
so
have
I'd have that straight after training.
the protein bar, and the shake, yeah, after training.
Yeah, after training, and then you go home, and then I'd have some lean chicken breast alongside some no some to be honest, depending on how hard the session was, because I was really trying to keep my weight down.
Yeah.
I was trying to lose some fat, so depending on how much energy I'd lost from the training session, I'd either have just chicken breast by itself, or I'd have it just with some like vegetables, like just a mixture of loads of
Mm-hmm.
vegetables all packed in, because vegetables you have to eat a lot before it actually fills you up. And
Yeah.
then I'd for dinner I'd have like no, I think I'd like for snacks I'd have like pistachios, nuts, mixed nuts, those sort of things, just to
Yeah.
keep you fill up those gaps where you just want to, eat something rubbish. So those help me just kind of stay away from those bad foods. And then for dinner I'd have like like more chicken breast or more salmon, like all of that stuff, loads of that, some sweet potatoes, you know, tons of vegetables, another protein
Yeah.
shake, like big plate. I'd show you guys if I had it, if I could show you some pics now. But yeah, I'd have a fat plate full of because I'm trying to eat this and so I don't, you know,
Yeah,
indulge in snacks later. And
yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
yeah, this is I'd have that, and then I'd end the day with a protein shake again, like a casein this time, not whey. So it'd be like a casein, like a slow producing the protein,
Slow
just to
release,
help
yeah,
recover
slow
the
release
muscles for the
protein.
following session. But yeah, that's my. I'd be pretty much every day, so it wouldn't. The variety is very awful. So yeah, that's something you have to really commit to. Yeah, boring, but yeah, it has to be done.
Very strict,
Yeah,
man.
very
Very
very.
strict. You know, the results spoke for themselves.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So how do you deal with pressure and competition? Is there is there like a routine you go through, or
Um.
is it just based on the months of training that you've done prior to that?
So pressure for me was always something that I struggled with growing up, but I got to a stage where I decided that, you know, I'm doing something that I love to do, and I shouldn't
Hmm.
let the pressure cause me to feel negative towards it. So I started going out on the track and thinking I want to have fun. You know, I'm doing what I love. I'm not going to let people, coaches, family, friends, or just the pressure of being successful kind of affect my performance and, you know, stress my mind, because I'm doing what I love. You know, this is my job. This is what I would love to do. Why am I going to negatively affect it by putting pressure on myself? And, you know, pressure doesn't always have to be negative. It can be positive too, because I would turn the pressure into a positive thing, which helped me perform well. Because if you let it overwhelm you, it will make you, you know, trip over yourself and not perform as well as you'd like to. So I'd say
Yeah,
you just kind of need to turn the negative feelings into positive feelings and not think about, you know, let other people, you know, affect you as an individual, because at the end of the day, they're not on the track running the race for you, or jumping or throwing or whatever sport you do. You need to just go out
good.
there, do the sport that
Yeah,
I'm assuming that you love, and just kind of go out there and give it your best shot and come away smiling and enjoying it. That's my advice. Yeah.
yeah. That is a really good way to think about it. Almost looking at the bigger picture and understanding that, you know, I'm doing what I love. Like, why
Yeah.
I don't need to make this a negative experience. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
you know,
For sure.
it's cool. I haven't heard that perspective on pressure before, but it's interesting. Um, an interesting one. Where you always fast?
Uh, I think I kind of talked about that throughout my little long first question, but
Yeah.
yeah, I guess I had symptoms of speed from young, but a lot of the decisions I made and the choices I made
Mm.
to get to where I am now kind of established me as, I'd say, you know, fast. So yeah, I had times where I would say I was fast and times where I'd say I was developing fast. So yeah, I guess I could answer the question and say, yeah, I was always fast in a way. Yeah.
So someone looking at sprinters and thinking like, oh, I can be like, can I be like that? Do I need to be fast? Is there a side like a little side question? Is Does there need to be that inkling, that, like you said, that symptom of speed where you think like there's a little something extra about me, like I'm always getting to the ball first, or I'm always like, you know, running people down, or running away from
Um,
people?
I think that's a very,
Do you think
very
there
interesting.
has to be that little?
That's a big argument. Even to this day, people still make the argument about, you know, do you have to show signs from young?
Yeah,
But my personal opinion is that can't make that judgment as a youth, like as a young person. I think the way our bodies work, people develop at different stages, and I've seen athletes who were, not to disrespect, were just not at all showing signs that they were going to be good at this, and you know, as they grew older, oh, I'm running fast, I'm doing this better, you know. So I'd say to people out there,
yeah,
just don't be don't let it affect you, the fact that you're not running or just doing a sport at a level that you should be compared to your peers or your friends or your whoever you're looking at, and deciding, oh, it's not for me. So again, it's a big argument, and I'm not saying this is the perfect answer, but it's a big argument, but my opinion is just that it's the developing thing, and you can't know from young. Some people show signs that they're going to be Usain Bolt when they're 13, and then they're not Usain Bolt when they're 20. So, and there's some
Yeah.
people who are just looking like
Yeah.
they weren't going to do anything, and now they're, top of the country or top in the world. So that's just my outlook on it anyway.
Yeah. Varies per individual. Um, you've definitely covered this question, so I'm gonna skip over it. It was just basically how was your first, if you want to, you can go into more detail, but how was your first like experience like at the national level or running for GB? You said it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like more of a
it
professional
was,
setup, and it almost felt like home.
yeah, I really thought of that chance as my reward for that year, because at the time I wasn't expecting anything.
Mm-hmm.
I just went there thinking, yeah, I'm here, got my GB kit. It was nice. It was a good experience, flying, like I said, flying overseas, feeling more respected, and people talking about you, being on TV. But I didn't, at the time, I didn't let it
Mm-hmm.
overwhelm me, but I could see it overwhelming a lot of other people because I just looked at it differently. Maybe I should have looked at it more seriously at the time,
Yeah.
but you know, it was something for me. I just felt like that was my reward. So I just went out there and, you know, claimed everything, and I enjoyed meeting loads of different people and loads of different countries and enjoying just being in another country. So yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. I'd say it was great.
Yeah. Um, so what were some of the things that made you level up? So obviously you're saying like obviously it was a
Mm,
process to get where you were with many like injuries and setbacks and whatever else. Like what was some, you definitely covered it a little bit. Well, what were some of the things that
mm.
made you level up, whether it be physical or mental? I know you covered it like changing your diet and everything else,
Yeah,
but was there anything else
yeah.
that helped you get to another level?
Yeah, I would say believing in yourself and looking at the things you achieve and, you know,
Mm.
using the resources that you have and the people around you and, wanting to be, I think being a student of the sport is probably the most important thing as an athlete. You're always a student. You're always learning. There's always room for improvement. There's always room to research. And I mean that like literally like being a school student, whether it be just going on the internet and searching up different training programs or looking at the best in the world sprinting, looking back at your own performances. I think that, develops both things,
Yeah.
physical and mental. Learning different things and building up your, like building up your knowledge of the sport allows you to, specific to the question, level up as an athlete. Because anybody can go out there and just do what coach says,
Mm-hmm.
go out there and run and do what coach says. But we're not robots, we don't just go out there and do what coach says. You have to have a mind of your own. And whether that be learning something, going back to coaching,
Yeah.
discussing these things and discussing what you think is best for you and what you want to try and what you want to work for. So yeah, student of the sport is what I'm going to say is the best way to develop as an athlete.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point in terms of obviously being a student of your sport, but also developing, behind the scenes and developing um, yourself as a person. Because ultimately, I tell my athletes all the time, like, um, I'm not gonna run the race for you. There has to be a certain level of self discipline and self homework basically that needs to be
Yeah,
done. Like I can only see so much as a coach. It has to be a feeling as well. You have to feel what you're doing right and feel what you're doing wrong.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
so yeah, that's an interesting point. Um, so what are some of the, again, covered slightly, what are some of the biggest
Mm.
lessons learned from the sport so far?
Um, I didn't go straight into this one, but I think emotions in the sport is something you have to learn to control. And that kind of covers a lot because
Mm,
you can decide how a situation makes you feel and how you react to it. And being able to control your emotions allows you to, you know, see things positively or let something hold you back from being the athlete you want to be. For example, if it's, you had a bad race or you had a bad training session, you go home, you're meant to do your exercises, but because you've had that negative feeling from training, you're gonna come back and you ain't gonna do that. So controlling your emotions would be an
Hmm.
athlete that goes out there, things don't go according to plan, but you're still gonna come back and do your homework, your home stuff, your little exercises that coach is not there watching you do, or eating well, coming home and instead of feeling bad and just eating, I don't know, a burger or whatever people eat, um, still sticking to your training diet.
Yeah.
So whether it be just going to bed and waking up and feeling like you don't want to go to training. Like if you control your emotions, that will tell you, get up, get to training. You don't feel good, but you need to get out there and train. So don't go by how you feel all the time and how you're feeling inside, because that's going to hold you back. So if you can learn to control your emotions, then things won't affect you as bad.
Yeah.
And you'll always see the positive things from the negative things. So that's a hard thing to do. I'm not saying it can be done overnight, but it's
Yeah.
something you have to learn to develop and discipline yourself to do.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Like you're almost looking at situations from a different perspective. But like obviously focusing on dedication rather than just motivation. Because some days you're gonna
Yeah.
feel like it, some days you're not. You know.
Yeah. Just little things that I've learned personally.
Last one. Yeah. Last one. How do you personally overcome adversity in your sport and in life? Because obviously you went through quite a serious injury recently.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it relates to that too.
Yeah. I think I've kind of talked about that, but yeah, it's just trying to stay positive and I'm a Christian. I believe in God, and I believe God has given me a gift, and you know, believing that a lot of things have happened in my life, and trying to see it as things like, oh, it's gonna make me
Yeah.
stronger. It's gonna teach me for a better day. Because for example, if I won the Olympics, everything that happened in the past wouldn't matter to me. I'd say it was all worth it. So it's trying to look to the
Yeah.
future and stay positive and stay focused on your goal, no matter what comes up against you. And I haven't got that perfect yet personally, but I'm learning day by day to always see things as positives and see everything as a lesson and a development for an athlete, and trying to keep staying focused on the goal that I have and not throw away everything because things didn't go according to plan. Because I've trained for years,
Mm-hmm.
since I was 10 years old, I've been on the track running and training. And for me to let something that's happened bad to affect me and make me decide not to want to, continue or give up would just be in my head a waste of years. And also staying in love with it as well,
Yeah.
with what you do, and realizing that in life things are gonna, go wrong, and learning and developing and trying to prevent things is a reason for you to wake up and, give it another go, personally. Yeah, hope that's a good
Yeah.
good answer for that question.
I think. Yeah. That I was just gonna say, yeah. Thank you very much for coming on. I'm pretty sure the people that have joined in have learned a lot. I know I have.
Yeah, I hope, yeah.
So
I know my
what's
first
gonna
question was
happen with
mad, but
this?
yeah.
What I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do with this video is just obviously dissect it and take like little
Yeah.
snippets and little gems from our talk and post it up throughout the week. And then I'll post the full talk on YouTube the end of next week. So next Sunday, it will be live on YouTube, the full talk. But I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
It's
for sure,
been
man.
too
Anytime
long,
you guys want to hear from me,
too long.
yeah, it's been great. It's been great, guys, and I hope some of you guys learn some things and it can help you develop as athletes in the future. And I'm always around. I'm on Instagram, so if anyone has any more specific questions they want to ask me, you can pop up and drop me a line. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Like, I'm always here to give back. I never had someone like me to talk to when I was this young, when I was that age. So, I want to give back and help young athletes develop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm here.
As I said, the main reason why I asked Joseph to come on here is he was a prior training partner of mine. I respect him highly, but also the development I saw when I last saw the guy, from when I trained with you to how you are now. The development has been amazing mentally, more than anything. So yeah, just keep growing, keep striving, and hopefully, around this time next year or whatever, or whenever the Olympics are, we'll see something special happen.
I'm gonna get it right eventually.
All right, bro.
I'm gonna get it right. Yeah,
Yeah,
take care, man. It's been great. Yeah. Yeah, take care, guys. Everyone, take care. Peace out.
Take care, man. Take care, man. Yes, guys. Thank you for joining. That was Joseph. So yeah, this full video will be uploaded next Sunday on YouTube. And then little snippets, little gems for you guys will be uploaded onto my page from next week. The talk I did with Jade last week will be uploaded tonight, so I'll put that link in my bio. But other than that, thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next week at some point with another